Hello everyone, welcome to something a little bit different today. Some of you may have heard in my previous videos that I have mentioned that in my free time I have been playing Veronaville rotationally, and I have just finished playing round 10. So I thought I'd just do a little tour and a catch-up video, show you where my Veronaville and all of its stories are at 10 rounds later. So I guess the most important thing is a bit of context to start with. So what 10 rounds means for me is actually 5 sim weeks. On odd rounds, so say round 1 and 3, I play for 4 days, Monday to Thursday, and then on even rounds I play the weekends, Friday to Sunday. And I also have 7-day seasons, so basically 10 rounds means a full season has passed plus the first season again, and this is my seasonal rotation. So every family is now currently on the start of summer, and they started after I did the scripted events. Wherever they started, I then set every single family to the first day of spring on Monday. Now, in terms of how many years this equates to, I honestly don't really know. Maybe you can tell me at the end of this. I have always had a very hard time trying to kind of match a aging system to kind of real life years. My aging system is basically the Sims 3 style aging, only I have edited the toddler life stage of 7 days to 5 days. So my life stage is baby 3 days, toddler 5 days, children 7 days, teen 14 days. I have now got a mod that makes the university experience a total of 16 days. So each semester is 2 days long instead of 3 days long, but I actually didn't start with that, so that has made some of the ages a little bit skewed. Some of the older Sims like Tybalt, Mercutio, Romeo and Juliet will have had a longer university experience than the younger Sims like Desdemona, Beatrice and Benedict. So that has caused a little bit of a skew, a little bit of a squash together. But yeah, I decided a little later after starting that I wanted that mod. So yeah, they're a student young adult for 16 days, and then they are an adult for 42 days, and then an elder for a minimum of 16 days. So that means their total lifespan, excluding the university experience, is 88 days, and including it makes it 104 days. So I hope that makes sense. Because of the university experience, I find that makes it the hard thing to give an idea of how long it might have been in real life years, because realistically the Sims wouldn't have been in university for more than 8 years at an absolute maximum, and I mean most of them have only just graduated, so that makes it, in terms of the teens going through uni to becoming adults, that sort of makes it a maximum of say 10 years. But then when we look at the older Sims like Bianca and Antonio, you can see it's definitely been more than 10 years. It's probably more like 20. So I guess I'll take you through everything, and then you can let me know at the end of the video of what you kind of think it's been in terms of years. And also, if you enjoy the video, do let me know, and then I can make another update of Veronaville at another time. I certainly will not be starting a let's play on this. This will be definitely kept to my free time to play, but I am more than happy to give periodic updates if that is something you would be interested in. And you can let me know what kind of time frame makes sense, maybe after 15 rounds or 20 rounds, or however many sim years, or after, I don't know, 2 seasonal years, or what, however many weeks, whatever you think would make a good time frame, do let me know. So firstly, just a brief overview of the town. We still have a very much Capp and Monty side divide. But I just thought I'd let you know kind of what community lots we've got going on. I'm not going to go into each one, but maybe I can pop a screenshot on the screen. So here we have Veronaville Market, and that was actually a renovation I downloaded, I think from mod The Sims and then edited it myself slightly. I'll see if I can find the link. Here we have a very big, nice park called Midsummer Night's Green, which is a wordplay on the Shakespeare play Midsummer Night's Dream, obviously the other kind of night, and that's a very large, nice park. Here we have the Globe Centre, that's like a games hangout really. There's a little shop side where you can pick up newspapers and games and magazines, and there's even a job board in there and things like that. But on the other side it's just a little hangout with some pinballs and some places where you can hang out and play games. So it's a great place for teens to go. Over here we have Pepe's Pets, slightly Veronaville-ified, but I might eventually get rid of that when my Sims can kind of breed their own pets. Here we have a books and coffee store, and I'll not reveal who owns that just yet. And over here we have the a cappella church, which is the final resting place for the Capp side and a very popular wedding venue for this the Sims on this side of town. On the Monty side we have Pentameter Parkway here, which is the supermarket, and also there's a little office where you can apply for social welfare and find a job and pick up a newspaper and things like that. And then over here we have Stratford Strip, which is, you know, the clothes and I think electronics. And there's two smaller parks on this side. There's a little fishing park here called Parco de Pesci, and the old silo farm, which I made into a children's playground, but it's also quite a good teen hangout spot too. We also have this little coffee shop called Mucho Espresso. I know it's spelled wrong, but I think it's based on a lot from Monte Vista. I actually downloaded some of these from the Europa neighborhood that you can download, and I was actually thinking about making that a sub HUD for this HUD eventually, but it would mean I would have to kind of move a lot of the lots around to avoid copies. And over here we have Ristorante del Monte. It's the Monty owned restaurant, but I'll not tell you who technically owns it just yet. And here we have Sant Monte, which is a resting place for the Montys and a popular wedding venue for the Sims on this side of town too. As you can see, I kind of have a mixture of the quality of the lot imposters, whether I have remembered to go in and shuffle some things around to get them reloaded with the RPC new higher detail lot settings. And I think that's everything. So yeah, it's still very much a small town vibes. There isn't a lot to do. Attached there is no shopping district or downtown, so it's very close knit, very rural. Yeah, there really isn't much to do, but I kind of like that. I kind of think it fits this town really well. Perhaps as it grows and expands, we can think about adding a district. It does have the Académie Latour University attached, and we'll be going there later. And it does have all 3 holiday destinations, which I won't be going into any kind of detail, but I have renovated them all. We might see some screenshots of the Sims who have been on holiday or purchased a vacation home. So to start us off with, I thought we would pay a visit to Consort Capp. The Capp family has always been the star of my rotation, and when he was alive he would have been the first household I played with. He is now deceased. He died on the 3rd day of fall, and as you can see from his gravestone, he had a very good life and died in platinum aspiration. His original bio stated that Consort Capp was once associates with Patrizio Monte. What led to the end of their relationship, and can it be salvaged? So, as I'm sure you probably know by now, that the theme of Veronaville is that there is 2 feuding families. The main characters are Juliet and Romeo, based on the Shakespeare play Romeo and Juliet, and all other characters in this neighbourhood are Shakespearean characters from various plays. So it's unclear what caused the rivalry or feud in the first place. It could have been Consort's wife Contessa, who is deceased at the start of the game. I think she had a thing with Patrizio once upon a time. It could have been a business thing, a land thing, a friendship thing. It could have potentially been a Romeo and Juliet thing, but I'm pretty sure it definitely started before they started seeing each other. So no one really knows. It's kind of, up to the imagination, really. So while he died a happy man, he was certainly not able to reconcile with Patrizio and Isabella. That still ended bitter. They really just didn't have anything to do with each other, to be honest. It's not like fights were breaking out or anything like that. They just kind of stayed out of each other's way and never worked on the relationship. At the start of the game, he is pretty distant with his granddaughter Juliet, obviously annoyed at her for kind of betraying him and seeing Romeo and Monty, which he obviously wouldn't have approved of, but they did become a lot closer, which was nice. However, nowhere near as close as him and Tybalt got. Tybalt became a mini consort basically, and they developed a really good bond and close friendship. So, Consort was widowed at the start of the game, but he did eventually find a new love, which was really quite unexpected, and that was actually with Tiffany Zarabin, which is one of the pre-made Garden Club members. So here he has his wife Contessa on one side and Tiffany on the other, and they got married quite late on in their lives and managed to have a nice little honeymoon in Three Lakes. But basically, as soon as they got back, they did pass away. Tiffany first, then a day or two later, Consort followed. But it was really nice that he was able to find love again and have someone to share the house with once the grandkids has gone to university. When you start the game, Consort always has the want to retire, and I made that happen for him. I didn't force him to get to the top of the career first. He wanted to retire, so he retired at level 9. And his hobby was film and literature, so he decided to use all that money that was just sitting there to purchase a bookstore. So he used to be the owner of the books and coffee shop. He started writing his own novels, and then he opened a little place where he could sell his novels and just let people come and hang out, read books, and enjoy literature. As for other information about him, he was a neat and grouchy sim. His traits were proper, grumpy, bookworm, charismatic, a born salesperson, and a workaholic, and his secondary aspiration was family. Some of his main interests were money, entertainment, and culture. So that's why he stayed a fortune sim and also got the hobby of film and literature, and therefore started writing in his retirement. So when he died, he had just short of 40,000 in his household funds, and he split that between his remaining family members, like all of them, his children and grandchildren, except for the ones that inherited a property off him. And I guess I will reveal those a little bit later. So for now, let's move on from Consort. As you can see, this is a cappella church, and lot I also downloaded and just put my own slight tweaks on. It's a very nice place. We've had some very nice weddings here. So I figured this would be a lovely resting place for Consort. As you can see, there are several other graves here, and they have all been moved from the Capp Manor because they caused chaos. I didn't like it. I don't like the idea of backyard graveyards at all. I think it's very strange and unrealistic. But actually, when I decided to leave them, try leaving them there for a bit at first, Consort actually died very quickly after me starting playing, because I have some ghost mods that make them do all kinds of crazy stuff, and Contessa actually basically set Consort on fire. But yeah, because I never liked the idea of the graves being there in the first place, I decided to quit without saving and move the graves. So yes, Consort did live out his life, didn't die tragically in a fire, and instead died at the end of his life. And after sharing some love with Tiffany. So now we're here visiting Patrizio and Isabella, who are also deceased in their final resting place, the Sant Monte, and they also died very happy Sims, both with the platinum aspiration in their family aspirations. Patrizio actually died slightly before Consort on the second day of fall, but Isabella had a little bit of time to herself because she died on the 2nd of winter. When you start, Patrizio and Isabella aren't that close, but they actually really rekindled things. Isabella turned out to have a secondary aspiration of romance, and that just really made her want to be loved up with Patrizio. It was very sweet. Actually, she didn't look elsewhere, although when he did pass away and she had some time to kill, she did have a little fling with the butler, but nothing serious. The original family bio stated that Patrizio Monty never forgot Consort Capp's broken promise, but now his grandson Romeo has fallen for the Capp heiress. Will the elders live to see the two families united? So again, we don't really know what they fell out about. What was this broken promise? Was it that he would stay away from Contessa? Some sort of business deal? That he would give him some land? That he wouldn't break the bro code or something like that. Who knows what it was? But yeah, as I have already mentioned, things never got any better between those two. They just stayed out of each other's way. They never approved of Romeo and Juliet, but they did, somewhat keep the noses out and focus on themselves, build their own relationship and pursue their passions and hobbies in their elder years. So Patrizio's personal bio was, through his hard work, Patrizio has become the Don of llama ranching, but will his grudge against Consort Capp prevent him from enjoying his legacy? So he was a little bit of a grumpy old man, but he really decided to put all his effort and energy into gardening. In his old age and retirement, he ended up getting a gold talent badge in gardening, and just enjoying his hobby, enjoying his relationship with Isabella. And Isabella's personal bio was that Isabella's culinary talents have long been the cornerstone of the Monty clan, but will her secret recipe for the perfect baked Alaska heal all family wounds? So while Isabella certainly did focus on her hobby in cuisine in her old age, she decided to buy a restaurant, Ristorante del Monte, and she ran that for a little bit, and she passed it on to someone before she died, but all will be revealed. And she just, entered some cooking contests, had some parties, inviting their family around for meals. She liked to do that. So yeah, they had quite healthy twilight years, really. They really focused on what was important. I'm quite proud of them, actually. So as I already said, Isabella's secondary aspiration was romance, but Patrizio's was fortune, which does make a lot of sense for him. Patrizio was a very neat sim, but Isabella had a completely balanced personality. Patrizio's traits were a natural cook, loves the outdoors, family-oriented, charismatic, loves the heat, and a technophobe, and Isabella's was a natural cook, family-oriented, a hopeless romantic, loves the heat, a social butterfly, and a good sense of humour. And I think that's all there is to say about these two. Yeah, they had quite happy, healthy elder years, and did pass the legacy down, but we will get to that shortly. And this is the San Monte Church, which is a very nice place for Sims to get married. There are a couple of graves that were moved from the Monty Ranch before Mercutio ended up destroying them, so they're nice and safe and sound here. And there's also plenty of kind of placeholder graves, so plenty of room, plenty of plots for the whole family. This is a lovely wedding venue where the Monty side of town choose to get married. Unfortunately, there isn't a outdoor wedding option here like there is in Acapella Church, which is a little bit of a shame, but still it does make for a very nice wedding. And if they're after an outdoorsy type wedding, they can always go abroad on holiday. So now we can finally move on to the living sims. So here we are with the renovated Capp Manor. I am really happy with how this turned out. I am not a builder at all, but I really like this. I completely rebuilt this lot, and I made it slightly bigger, but kept the same. Oh, lag? What? Hello, lag? Kept the same style and shape and everything like that. And I just think it's very recognizable as the Capp Manor, most importantly, and it just looks very important and very significant, as I think this lot should. And as you can see, I've got my higher quality fields around it that are actually visible from a lot view, so that makes a huge difference at really setting the scene. So I'll present the Sims living here, and then I'll give you a little tour around the inside of the house. So, while I understand that Juliet was supposed to be the heiress, Tybalt has inherited the Capp Manor. Him and Consort had a very good relationship. He was very proud of his grandson Tybalt. He was the man he wanted him to be, really took after him, and since Consort was the only living Capp elder of that generation, there was no one really to discuss with, so he just decided it was right that Tybalt should be named heir and get the mansion to follow in his grandfather's footsteps. And I just think this suits him a lot more. So yeah, it's Tybalt here, not Juliet. So Tybalt is still a primary popularity, even with my new calculator and him, maturing a little bit, going through uni and becoming an adult. Popularity was still his highest score in Aspiration, and his secondary is Fortune. He is outgoing and grouchy. As you can see, his personality has slightly changed from his genetic personality, and that is because when my teens grow up, they get a character value thank you to their Parenthood mod. So he grew as a good manners sim, and in my system, that means that he becomes 1 point nicer and 1 point neater. So that explains those changes there. His current aspiration is still to become Hall of Famer, but really that was more of his teenage dream. He's matured a little bit. He was always very into, exercising and sports. He had, a full body skill. He's interested in sports. He liked to go and beat up Romeo and Mercutio, and his hobby is actually boxing, which is classed as a sport. So he had an interest in pursuing that. However, he chose to do political science at university. He was very tempted and sort of felt a pressure to pursue the business career after his grandfather, but instead he decided that the political career was a better fit for him, and he would eventually like to become mayor of Veronaville. His traits are that he is lucky. I guess that was from him winning fights all the time. I kind of wanted to keep that trend going. A party animal, athletic, charismatic, and grumpy. He's interested in politics, crime, money, entertainment, and toys, but he hates work, health, weather, environment, and sci-fi. So I thought him hating work might cause some problems. He obviously doesn't have the highest work ethic, but I think he is willing to do what it takes. He feels a lot of pressure carrying the Capp name, but I think ultimately I can see him, once he gathers some funds, him maybe be more of a hands-off businessman. Maybe he invests in new businesses to appear in Veronaville and takes a cut of their percentage. So we'll have to see where that goes. But yeah, for right now, it seems like he's been quite dedicated to his work. He's had quite a bit of time to himself before his fiancée joined him here. She had to finish uni and is a little bit younger than he is. Tybalt's original bio was outspoken but surly. Tybalt is proud to carry the Capp name. Will his pride and hatred of the Montys ruin his sister Juliet's chance of happiness with Romeo? So I've been going through and rewriting bios for my Veronaville Sims. I only got so far, but all the key ones are done. So his new bio states that Tybalt grew very close with his grandfather consort before he passed away, which led to him inheriting the Capp Manor. He is determined to do right by the Capp name, but just how closely will he follow in Consort's footsteps? Whilst Tybalt patched things up with his sister Juliet, he still despises Romeo. With the boys each inheriting their family legacies, oops, spoiler, it doesn't look like this feud will end anytime soon. However, since he fell in love with Beatrice Monty, another spoiler, whoops, and has welcomed her into his family home and as his fiancée, as well as befriending her brother Benedict, perhaps this has become more of a personal grudge than a family feud. Tybalt was torn between channeling his energy into his love of sports or following his family's footsteps into the business career, but in the end he chose neither. Instead, he figured, why stop at becoming leader of the Capp family when you can become leader of the whole town? So there you have it. There is Tybalt Capp for you. As you can see, he's had a pretty positive life. He made several friends during university. He was still fighting with Mercutio and Romeo for a while, but that I did manage to kind of have some control over the situation and die that down. They were in a dorm together, and I just kind of kept them apart and hoped they would maybe build some bonds over, you know, having meals together and just generally seeing each other around the place. Maybe they could be civil. This is when Consort died, and this is just some random dormie that died, couldn't take care of himself. He did have a fling with a girl in uni, so he had his first kiss with Jenna, which was a dormie in Academia Tour. So they made out. He had his first woohoo with her. He just fell in love with her, and then Beatrice came along and they had like an electric chemistry. She was really quite forward, and quite soon after ACR did its thing and they made some advancements and got together. And then at that point, he loved them both, but he decided to ask Jenna to just be friends. They were never together. It was never a relationship. So they broke up, and then he decided to go steady with Beatrice. And you can see that's when he fell out of love with Jenna amicably. But then towards the end of his university experience, he decided to propose to Beatrice. He really wanted that promise there that he would be waiting for her to finish university, and that they can share a life together whenever she was finished with university and ready. He would be there, and you know, they could wait it out. So that was really sweet. He wanted to do that, and I was really surprised, but that was really nice. So he graduated, he did okay, you know, nothing, no honors or anything, and then he moved into the Capp Manor. I need to get rid of one of these. That was when he moved into the old Capp Manor to pick up some personal belongings, and then moved into the newly renovated one. He got a job, got some promotions, and, you know, focused on it quite well. And his family's been up to all sorts of good stuff. And he obtained Tibbet, his cat. And all family stuff, family parties, family reunions, family events. But unfortunately, him and Romeo lost their enemy status. And I really thought I'd be telling you in this video that they were, you know, getting back on track. But recently there was a party, and it was in a really small house, so there was loads of routing errors, and then I took my eye off them, and they just started arguing and shoving, and you know, usually I noticed because they were fighting, but they decided not to fight, and it was just the arguing, poking, shoving, whatever they were doing that I weren't noticing, and it all came crashing back down, and they ended up enemies again. So before we take a look at that, his relationships are a very good relationship with Beatrice. When they first got together, they did have 3 bolts because one of his turns on is fitness, and at the time Beatrice was fit, and so that's why there was so much electricity when Beatrice joined university, and they fell in love really quite quickly. He's good friends with Puck Summerdream, Hal Capp, Desdemona Capp, Hermia Capp. Still friends with Jenna Spitzig, his little fling, but yep, just friends. He's anti-Reagan Capp. He is friends with Benedict Monty, Beatrice's brother. He's friends with Juliet Capp. They they got on much better terms. Really, like, without much effort, they just, I guess, just got talking over meal times and things like that and became friends. He decided not to hold it against her that she was going against she was going with Romeo, which he despised. He just decided to blame it all on Romeo instead, I suppose. His cousin Miranda, and he's pretty close with his uncle Kent as well. So let's go to the other side of relationships. So, yeah, things are once again terrible between him and Romeo, and that is such a shame because honestly they were doing so much better. They were sort of a similar status to him and Mercutio are now, in fact a little bit better I think, and then it all just started rapidly escalating without me noticing, and they are back at square one really, so it's a huge shame. And they will be seeing each other a lot at family get-togethers now that the families are intertwined, Beatrice is going to want them around, so he's going to have to find a way to deal with it. Otherwise, he could, really jeopardize his relationship. I'm not sure what happens with him and Common Patch, but there is a reason why he is not happy with Roxy Sharp. She caused some drama with a family member, so all will be revealed later. So here we have the beautiful Beatrice Monty. I think she has one of the prettiest faces in this hood. She's really quite stunning. Yeah, so she was fit when her and Tybalt got together, but she has since really piled on the pounds. She's still beautiful, bless her. A morph on this outfit is quite flattering, but in general, you know what Sims 2 fatness is like. It basically just gives him a big old belly and nothing else, and it looks a little bit odd with her skinny face and that, but we'll see if she decides to do anything about it or she will just embrace her love of food, and why not, she's still absolutely stunning. So Beatrice grew up to be a popularity sim. Well, actually, she finished uni and I made her popularity sim, I believe. When she grew from a child to a teenager, I just judged what she kind of seemed like at the time, and that was a pleasure sim. So through uni she was a pleasure sim, but now she has finished, she's now a popularity sim, and her secondary aspiration is pleasure. That's what my calculator worked out as the two biggest scoring for her. And her current lifetime one is to have 20 simultaneous best friends. She is sloppy, active, and nice. When you start the game, her personality is already different from her genetic personality. Not sure what happened there. I guess it's implied she was encouraged a lot as a kid, or maybe, losing her mom had some effect on her. I guess for some context, just in case you don't know, Beatrice is the child of Antonio Monty and his deceased wife, Hero Monty, and she is a twin. Her brother is Benedict. Her traits are natural cook, supernatural fan, athletic, party animal, and family oriented. She is in a custom business owner career that has no time or salary. It's literally just a placeholder to block other career wants because she inherited the Monty restaurant. She is very passionate about cooking and baking. It is her hobby. So that's why she bonded with Isabella before she died over that, and she figured it was a perfect fit for her. Obviously, Antonio and Bianca are cooks as well, but they were kind of doing their own thing, progressing in their respective careers. Didn't particularly want to kind of start at the bottom again and chance it all running a restaurant when they had families to think about. So yeah, it was handed over to Beatrice. She did have it during uni, but she didn't go there and visit it very often. And in fact, Romeo helped her out during his college years just for a little bit of extra cash. He was kind of pushed into it by his grandparents before they died, but he has since quit. So today she needs to go and definitely hire a waiter to help her out at the very least. So yeah, that's what she's going to be doing. She's going to be running the family restaurant, and as you can see, she's quite keen to win some cooking contests. She has a shepherd's pie ready to go, so hopefully she can win some extra cash with that as well. So she is interested in crime, food, money, entertainment, fashion, sports, paranormal and travel, and she hates health and animals, which is a real shame. How can anyone hate animals? um, she actually wanted a cat when she was younger, and her dad got her a cat. She's still very close to said cat, and actually my plan was for that cat to move in with her when she graduated, but now knowing she hates animals and that Nala, the cat, has bonded with her dad and his family very well, I think she would probably be staying there. But it would have been nice if maybe her and Habit could have bonded a little bit, but I think Nala will be getting pretty old now anyway. And as I already said, her hobby is cuisine, and she did a degree in philosophy, but honestly, that was mostly to get some the experience. Really, she didn't take it too seriously, but she did okay. She managed to get through without getting on academic probation. And she's just graduated, like literally just now. This is her first day into adulthood, whereas Tybalt is significantly older. He has been an adult for 10 days already. So she's had a pretty good life, making friends. I eventually got the mod that got rid of the Met Sim memories because they are really quite cluttersome. Cluttersome, is that a word? It is now. As you can see here, she obtained Nala because that's what she wanted. And all sorts of good stuff about her family, basically meeting them at parties, having good parties, them getting married and engaged, and whatever else. Her grandparents dying, starting her first period. She grew as a mediator sim, so that meant that let's see, I believe she got nicer and outgoing with that. Yeah, went to college. She did pretty well. Some of her, yeah, this is not about her, this is a family. Oh, yeah, she did make these list a couple of times, but generally she wasn't too focused on it being a pleasure sim at the time. She just made friends and yeah, had a romance with Tybalt. But yeah, I did actually have quite a long time in university without him once he had already graduated. But yeah, she still had lots of fun. She lost Mercutio as a best friend. I wonder what happened there. Let's take a look. So she has a good relationship with her fiance Tybalt, a very good relationship with her twin brother Benedict. She's good friends with Bottom Summerdream and Puck Summerdream, Hal Capp, her father Antonio, her now father's cat Nala. She's pretty close with Desdemona Capp. I'm not sure why they haven't managed to make friends just yet. I'm sure that will happen soon. Her auntie Bianca Monte, her cousin Olivia Monte, who is a new face we'll get to soon. Ariel Capp, who is the youngest pre-made sim in the hood. Juliet Capp and Mercutio Monte. So I guess it just faded apart. I don't think anything happened there. And yeah, she doesn't have any bad feelings towards Romeo. They're not the closest, but I still think she'll want him at family events. So Tybalt is definitely going to have to find a way of dealing with that. She has no enemies. She's not getting on too well with one of her other cousins. Not sure why. But yeah, she's she doesn't like Tybalt's ex-lover Jenna, and that's understandable. And yeah, she's not keen on some of the Caps, but I don't think that has any kind of feud reason. They probably just don't have a lot in common. She spoke to him at some family parties and just they haven't been each other's cup of tea. It's nothing serious there, I don't think. Oh, and I am aware that Beatrice has a hidden family token, and honestly I'm not sure if that affects wants or not. I don't think it really does. Some people's theory is that that is just what kind of Maxis intended them to be, but that's not how it worked out in my calculator, but that is the reason behind giving her the family-oriented trait. And I think that's all there is to Beatrice. So let's have a little look at the little cat. Tibbets! Look at them pink dough beans. Oh, isn't he cute? His British short hair, I think that's called British blue. So yeah, let's have a tour of the house. So he has quite a grand living room, and he kind of kept some of the old furnishings to keep true to the look, keep true to Consort's style. He has a little gym here, what with his hobby being boxing, but he likes to keep fit as well. We'll see if Beatrice has any interest in doing so, but honestly, if you don't, girl, same. The nice large entranceway. Sometimes this is like a nice place to maybe put some music. It can be a little place for the family to dance at parties. A little convenient downstairs bathroom here. A nice kitchen here with a stinky little box at the moment. I think they do have a maid, so I think she'll be coming over and sorting that out today. So yeah, this is basically Beatrice's palace. She'll be spending a lot of her time here, and certainly being the cook. And they have a nice grand dining room here with lots of space. The colour themes are true to the original Capp house, but conveniently they are also based on their favourite colours. So Tybalt likes red and Beatrice likes blue, so that's why it made sense for kind of the kitchen area to be blue, because that is where, well, Beatrice will be spending more time than Tybalt there. Upstairs they have 3 empty rooms, plenty of room to raise a family, a family bathroom, and then a very large ensuite to the master bedroom. Tybalt, what are you doing? Practicing his boxing. They have a bedroom that ties in both of their favourite colours. I actually made this rug recolour myself as a way of tying in both colours together. And here is the office, which is exactly how I had it when Consort was alive. I made him an office with this kind of furniture, so I decided to keep that as like an ode to Consort, to keep that in his memory. And they have a little laundry nook here. Oh, that's not placed right. So let's take a look at the back garden. They have a nice large pool and a nice place to just chill out in the sun, a nice covered hot tub area, and a place to play some chess, which Tybalt has been doing a lot lately. And actually, he has been inviting his cousin Hal around a lot, and they've been playing chess together, and he has actually saved his ass and managed to keep him getting through uni. Although honestly, without Tybalt, Hal would have dropped out by now because he wouldn't have had those logic skill points. But he's been rolling the one to invite Hal round and to play chess or gain logic skill points, so they've been doing that together. They've bonded over that. So yeah, that is the glorious renovation of the Capp house. I hope you like it. Let me know. Of course, there's room for 2 cars, and Tybalt has his eye on getting one, and he can probably afford a pretty decent car right now. I basically gave them this for free, and they moved in here for free basically. I kind of figured that Consort like had some plans to do some stuff with the place, and obviously with the house being empty for a while, they were able to be seen through. However, Tybalt and Beatrice did spend their university savings from what they got in scholarships and such on the renovations. It's by no means as like big as the value gap is from the original house, but I thought it would just add a touch of realism that they contributed some of their own funds to put their own personal touch in, besides what Consort had already arranged to be improved. So there we have the Capp household. So I've just realised that I forgot to do Beatrice's bio. So her original bio says, the more outgoing of Antonio's twins, Beatrice is quite a firecracker. Can she be as sweet as she is sassy? So her new bio reads, Beatrice loves to cook and she loves food. This led to her bonding with her grandma Isabella before she died, as they shared this passion, and therefore inherited the family restaurant. She wants the food to be prepared by her own loving hands, but she also wants to be front of house so the Monty legacy can be recognised. But is she juggling too much? Can she keep the restaurant successful? Beatrice has always had an easy time making friends and sees no reason to discriminate, so she even found a very unlikely match in Tibble and is excited to begin their lives together. So we're moving on from the Capps. I don't keep the same name twice. I always distinguish the family names in some way, primarily so that I can use the family funds cheat. Obviously, if you have two families with the same name and use a family funds cheat, it will work on like whichever has the highest ID or however it works. So having separate names helps me distinguish them. So this is the first line and the first family in that line. So yeah, so that's the Capps where we just were, and now we're moving over here to the Monty Ranch, and here we have Romeo and Juliet. They are the first family in the first line of the Montys. So here we are at the newly renovated Monty Ranch. Once again, like the Capp Manor, this was completely rebuilt from scratch, and I am really pleased with it. I don't particularly enjoy building, I don't consider myself particularly very good at it, but I am thrilled with the way this looks, and how much better does it look that you can actually see the fields around it. So it actually looks like a ranch now. So this was also made slightly bigger as well. The rooms were pretty skinny, so they have a nice relaxing pool area out back, a little chicken coop, and a nice barbecue area and a balcony up top, and the courtyard is very pretty as well. So once again, I'll present the characters and then show you around the house. So here we have Romeo Monty. He was always the golden child of the Monty family, kind of Patricio and Isabella's favourite, although they did love Mercutio very much. It was Romeo that got to inherit the Monty Ranch despite being slightly younger than his brother Mercutio. Romeo has changed quite a lot. As you can see, he is now a popularity sim. Honestly, trust me, there is aspiration variety in this order. I know the 3 sims in a row that we've seen so far have all been popularity sims. Trust me, it varies. His secondary aspiration is pleasure, and his lifetime want currently is to have 50 dream dates. He still is very much a romantic character. He just kind of grew up from the teen phase he was in, completely filling his head with romance. Not sure if he particularly wanted to commit to Juliet, but knew he loved her very much. He has certainly matured a lot. He has a very balanced personality. There's nothing really remarkable about it. His traits are a natural cook, inherited, I guess it's like a Monty gene at this point. He's eco-friendly. He is star quality, and the only 2 sims in this HUD with a star quality trait are him and Juliet, and what that does is it makes their actions have a bigger effect on their reputation. So since I see these guys as kind of the main characters of Veronaville, that is why I figured the spotlight would be on them and their reputation matters more. He is a party animal, he loves the outdoors, he is artistic, and he is a hopeless romantic. He is currently unemployed. After finishing university, he didn't show any interest of being employed or joining a career at all. So we'll have to see if he can afford to maintain the massive Monty Ranch, but he does have a side income, and that is painting. I'll just show you his little painting room now. His hobby is painting, so he hopes to kind of be a freelance painter and earn money that way. His interests are food, entertainment, environment, paranormal, toys, and fashion, and he hates crime, work, health, culture, and animals. If we have a quick look at his memories, it's kind of a similar pattern. It's a lot of to do with like friends and family events and stuff. But let's have a look. He grew as a good manners sim, so that will have made him neater. And oh, it should have made him nicer. I wonder what's happened here. I'll have to have a look at that. I think his personality was already different from his genetic personality. In fact, yeah, maybe his personality at the start was lower than his genetic personality, and that's why adding 1 has made it match the genetic personality. I'm not sure. So yeah, there's not much to say about his memories. Obviously he has a memory of Patrizio, this random dormy, and Isabella dying. He actually got put on academic probation, so that meant he kind of lost some days in adulthood. When he moved out of university and became an adult, 2 days were added onto his life because he spent those extra days at university to keep all of the ages in sync. That's very important to me. He seems to have had some accidents. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm sorry, Romy. I have no idea that happened to you. Whoops. There was a fire. I think that was outside, like from a lightning storm recently. I don't think it was a big deal. And like Tybalt remembers, he has once again become enemies with him. Huge shame. Really disappointed in you guys. So let's take a look at his relationships. He has a wonderful relationship with Juliet. They are 3 bolts, very much in love. He does unfortunately also have 3 bolts with his sister, Hermia, but hey, that doesn't matter. He's smitten with Juliet. I think their aspirations changing has helped and things like that, but they actually have opposing zodiac signs. So without my mod that removes the contribution to the attraction system from zodiac signs, their chemistry takes a huge hit. So with that gone, that's a huge thing that doesn't hold them back at all. He's very close with his brother Mercutio, friends with Puck Summer Dream, Hermia Capp, Bottom Summer Dream, Hal Capp, Marla Biggs, a pre-made from Academia Latour, his uncle Antonio, his cousin Beatrice. He likes her more than she likes him, apparently. So yeah, maybe Beatrice is like a little bit cold to him because she knows that her fiance doesn't like him, but I still think she would want to, have him at family events, like I said. So we'll have to see what drama that causes. His auntie Bianca is pretty close to, and decently close to his other cousin Benedict as well. He's actually gotten really quite close to Goneril Capp, which is a really important figurehead for the Capp family. So that is huge. That is really like breaking some traditions there, making huge progresses and strides. Oh, I think the reason he has so many 3 bolts is because Isabella was given a genie lamp before she died, but she was really close to dying. She, felt like she'd lived a life. She'd already lost her husband. She didn't feel like wishing for anything, especially not like giving a long life. So she decided to just hand those 3 wishes down to her grandchildren. So Romeo wished for beauty, and I think that's why he has a chemistry boost. And I have a mod that makes it, supposed to be not annoying at night, so visitors don't come knocking at the door at night, but I've actually had no visitors, and I think it's because they struggle to find a front door. So there really has been no nuisance there. And what I also did was, I see Romeo as kind of a vain person, and he had actually gotten overweight. So I decided to imagine that his wish also incorporated making him, not fit, just, not overweight anymore. So yeah, that was a little cheaty, but I really thought that what he would wish for. And so all the way down here, he has a bad relationship with Tybalt, but actually nothing like as bad as Tybalt feels towards him. So that's interesting, but they do share that enemy status. As for his bio, Romeo's original bio said, naturally charismatic and handsome, Romeo's on his way to becoming quite the heartbreaker. Will he meet his match in Juliet? So his new bio is, Romeo has changed a lot from when he was a teen heartthrob. He no longer fills his head with romance and is fully committed to Juliet. He enjoyed the university experience without taking it very seriously and decided to turn his attention to building friendships. This has helped him to improve his relationship with the Capps. I wrote this before the drama happened at that party and they became enemies, so that needs to basically read instead of whilst him and Tybalt don't get along, they are no longer enemies, that unfortunately he is still enemies with Tybalt. As the golden child of the Monty family, Romeo has had a lot of things handed to him in life, including the entire Monty ranch, which he inherited from his late grandparents. He has a low work ethic and he enjoys painting, so hopes to sell his art, but will this be enough to maintain the ranch, or will it put too much strain on Juliet? He looks forward to marrying the love of his life, but can he be mature enough to raise a family? Moving on to the very beautiful Juliet. She is now a pleasure sim. that changed from her becoming an adult. Using my new calculator, I figured she had matured, had a potentially new outlook on life than when she had when she was a teen. It turned out that is more of a pleasure sim. But her secondary is family, so family is still very important to her. Sorry, I'm assuming that you know this. Perhaps you don't. Juliet starts with a family aspiration and Romeo starts with the romance aspiration. So they have both changed. Her current lifetime wish is to reach golden anniversary. She, is still very much about this love story she has with Romeo. And it's like the most important thing to her. She is currently working in the culinary career as a prep cook. She had the want to join the culinary career, which suits her because her hobby is baking, but I don't see this for her long term. I want her to save up and open her own bakery. That is definitely what I see Juliet doing, and I'm sure I will make happen. But for right now, I think she started at level 4 and has worked her way up to level 6, which is like beyond me because she frequently missed work. She hasn't been an adult long. She hasn't worked for many days at all. And she frequently rolled the one to stay home from work. So that's what she did. But she's doing okay. But I think now I'm going to stop her here because I have potential plans for what she could do with this prep cook role. But we'll discuss that later. So as I already said, her hobby is cuisine and particularly baking. Her interests are food, entertainment, environment, school, and travel. And she hates crime, sports, health, animals, and sci-fi. So these guys both hate animals, so I don't think they'll be getting any pets, unfortunately. She also grew as a good manners sim, so that should have made her neater and nicer. Again, I think her personality was already different from her genetic personality at the start of the game anyway. And I don't know if there'll be much to say about her memories. Obviously, she remembers Consort dying and inheriting money from him. Uni, family stuff. Oh, she had a fight with Mercutio and made enemies with him, unfortunately. But I don't think they are anymore. So family stuff, friends stuff. She got put on academic probation as well. So she was older than she should have been at the start. But she has lots of friends. I'm kind of surprised she didn't end up being a popularity sim as well because she has had a really easy time making friends. So she graduated in the art major and so did Romeo, but they, did pretty unremarkably. They just kind of scraped through. When they, finished university together and moved in, and they got engaged pretty quickly. They had a nice engagement, and yeah, they have a very good relationship. They're very close, and yeah, have had some great times together. In university, they had the first woohoo together. They had a wonderful prom together. All kinds of good stuff. So yeah, they really are like a good couple, kind of match made in heaven. So let's take a look at her relationships. Like I said, she has plenty of friends, a wonderful relationship with her fiancé Romeo. She's close with one of her new cousins, Thomas, that is new in my game, is not a pre-made, her sister Hermia, her cousin Desdemona, her other cousin Miranda, Beatrice Monty, cousin Hal, her older brother Tybalt, one of the Académie Latour pre-mades, Max Flexer, Book Summer Dream, and she's pretty close with her young cousin Ariel, her uncle Kent, and on the other side of things, she has fallen out with her uncle Cornwall, which I'll let you know about later, Roxy Sharp, because again, the family drama, which we'll discuss later, and she still does not get along with Mercutio at all. They aren't enemies anymore, but she really doesn't like him. I don't know what it is about him. I don't know whether it's like she thinks he's a bad influence on Romeo or she wants Romeo for herself. I really don't know. Obviously the boys do have a very good relationship, so I'm not sure where that comes from. And lastly, Juliet's original bio reads that Juliet loves her family and wants to please them, but feelings for Romeo are undeniable. Can she make her family proud and make herself happy as well? Her new bio reads that losing her grandfather was hard for Juliet, whilst her love for Romeo put a strain on their relationship and meant that she was not named as a Capp heiress. They grew closer in his final years. However, with the Capps and the Monty elders gone, the feud has begun to fizzle out, and the families have become more supportive of the true love between Juliet and Romeo. However, Juliet still dislikes Romeo's brother Mercutio, who she sees as a bad influence on Romeo and a bully to her brother Tybalt. Juliet is feeling positive about adulthood. She has no bitterness towards not being the heiress to the Capp name and manor, and sees her brother Tybalt as the rightful heir. Besides, she gets to enjoy a life of luxury in the Monty ranch anyway. Her passion is baking and dreams of opening her own bakery, but in the meantime she works as a cook so she can save up. She is excited to spend the rest of her life with Romeo and to start a family. So when these two get married, I figured she would keep her name. Same for Tybalt and Beatrice probably. I decided instead of being like a patriarchy, it's simply to do with status and I guess family favours. So since Consort favoured Tybalt and Patricia and Isabella favoured Romeo, and they've inherited the land. But in terms of the names, I think a surname will only be changed if a surname carries more weight than the other. So for the Capps, Montys and Summer Dreams, I can't see any of them changing their surname at marriage. But as for any Townies or Academy Latour Primes, they certainly would change their last names to whoever the person of status is. So now let me show you around the ranch. This is Juliet's kitchen, which I love very much. It's so her. Her favourite colours are light blue and light pink. And honestly, I think she might actually move this kitchen to the bakery when she gets it. And perhaps they will replace it with a more traditional kind of Tuscan style kitchen in here, and she can keep all this personal touch in her bakery without basically having two matching kitchens, one at home and one in a bakery. And here is the dining room, blue for Juliet's preference. She's the food queen in this household as well. So here they were over here stood in their bedroom. You know, I've made this little wing a bit closer to the house than it was, and also just like this whole space around the house bigger. So I did my best in this room at tying in their favourite colours pink and red together. I had a hard time doing it, but I am pretty happy with the way it turned out, and they have a nice ensuite bathroom in here. They have a family bathroom here at the end of the dining room and next to the living room. Romeo designed this living room with his preference for red. And they have an office here, again trying to tie in the colours they like, red and pink. And here is spare rooms for children. There'll be a joint children's bathroom and two good sized rooms for multiple children. You could fit definitely more than two in rooms as big as these. But for right now, they're being left empty. And as I've already shown you, Romeo has his art studio here, and Juliet quite likes to paint too, so there's definitely room for her to join him. And he also has an easel up here as well, and there's also a little laundry room up here too. Juliet's the one that takes care of the chickens, so she has some fresh eggs to use in her bakery. Patrizio raised chickens along with his garden, so I figured it would be nice for the chickens to stay at the ranch and to Juliet take over looking after them as well. But I patioed it all and got rid of all the plants because neither of them are very interested in gardening. So it's fairly low maintenance apart from this beautiful garden at the front here, which I think they'll be hiring a gardener to look after. So yeah, pretty happy with it. Let me know what you think. So I'm going to leave this part here. I cannot believe I thought I would cover the whole neighbourhood in a single video, and this is obviously going to turn into a mini series. But I like to keep things thorough. Hopefully, if you're anything like me, you don't mind that and appreciate that and enjoy that. But do let me know what kind of things you do like to see and what you don't like to see. It is all recorded now, but you know, I can chop more bits out maybe for next episode, or maybe add some extra information in while editing. So let me know. Next episode, we're probably going to cover the rest of the pre-made placed families, so we need to see Mercutio and Hermia and the Summer Dreams. So that might be a little bit of a shorter one, but then the one after that might be quite a hefty one, covering all of the families that start in the sim bin, and then the guys that are in university currently. And then probably the last episode will be on the Academy Latour pre-mains who have all graduated and are now part of the main hood. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode and my tour of Veronaville, and enjoyed seeing where these sims are all this time later. Please let me know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and I really hope you're looking forward to finding out about sims in the next part. And in the meantime, stay in touch, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, and come and check out my Discord and Twitter and all that other good stuff. See you in the next one. Bye guys!